Hey guys, it's Desiree. If you're new, welcome to my channel, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today's video is really exciting. I'm going to be talking about and sharing with you guys an ongoing experience. Basically, if you watched my Where I've Been video, I'll link it in the iCards. I briefly talked about one of the things I did while I was off YouTube, and that was sharing a book I wrote on Wattpad. And that's kind of like the experience I'm going to be talking about with you guys today. I'm going to be talking about like how I did it, why I did it, how it's been going, etc. So if that's something you're interested in, stay around and we're going to get into it. A little bit of backstory. I've been on Wattpad for about 6 years, maybe 7. I've had Wattpad since I was in like 8th or 7th grade, and I always used to read on there. I did write a little bit of admittedly very poorly written, not well done books at that time. Most of my friends had Wattpad, or like a few of my friends had Wattpad and also wrote books on there that like weren't very good. We thought we were good, I don't know. So those books have since been gone, and I haven't actually posted anything on Wattpad, like book related, like anything I've written since like 8th grade. So all throughout high school I read on Wattpad, and I did write, but I wrote everything and I saved it in my drafts. So I've been writing books my entire life. I always used to type out books, then I started moving to Wattpad, so I had like one centralized place where all my books would be written, and I would write, and that's what I would do every single night for the past like 7 years. I either read or I write. That is what I do. That's the time I enjoy most, is when I'm doing that. But I never post anything on Wattpad, and for one main reason, and that is when I start writing a book, I get really excited. I have a really great idea. I'm like, this sounds like such a great book. I know exactly how I want to write it. I know exactly how a specific scene is going to go, and I start to write it. And I'll get usually a couple chapters in, and then something else will spark a new idea. So I switch over and I start writing that idea, and the book I was previously writing goes on the back burner, and so forth. So I have over 70 drafts of books that I've thought up that I want to write and I want to share with the world, but are not completed or not finished. I haven't put the time and effort into to complete because I'm constantly writing new ideas. Then I started writing a new kind of book that I've never written before, and I was like, okay, I'm really liking this. And 2 of the books I was writing I was really dedicated to, and I kind of forced myself to keep writing them. I was like, we're not gonna just throw away these books like we do with all the others, or like move them to the back burner. And so I devised a way for me to not forget my new ideas or not just ignore them, but to kind of do both, have the best of both worlds. I was having my Hannah Montana moment, okay? Get the best of both worlds. So basically what I do now is, because I currently have so many books started, I'm not starting anything new. So what I do is, when I have a really good idea for like just a specific book scene, I either A, try to write that into one of my current books. So if it's a specific scene I really like, try to implement that into one of my current books. Or B, I have a note in my notes app that is all book ideas. So what I'll do is I'll give it like just a bland, like kind of descriptive title, and then I will put like a basic description of what I want the book to be about, or I'll put like the scene if it's a scene, and then I'll do point form ideas underneath of that of specific things I want to happen in that book. As I get more ideas, I'll add them. So when I do finish the books I'm currently working on and I want to start a new book, it's all right there ready to go, and I can start those books, but I'm not diving into anything new until I finish some of the books I have going. So this was how I kind of got started and got myself to focus on the books I was already writing. So I had told myself I would not post anything on Wattpad until I completed it, but then I kind of rethought that, and I decided that perhaps because I had so many chapters pre-written, and I was at the time consistently writing new chapters like every day, I would be able to keep up with updates. So I decided I'll go ahead and post it. I have these pre-written chapters, so as a chapter goes up, a new one's being written, but there's never like a gap in between, which we'll get to, because that didn't necessarily go as planned. So that was my plan. I decided I would try this because I figured that perhaps having my book on Wattpad, having people read it, having people want more chapters would encourage me to stay on track and to continue posting, and that thankfully is what happened. So that did work out well for me. So then, because I had decided, okay, I'm gonna post this, I went ahead, I wrote a description, which I worked really hard on. My description was rewritten so many times, put all my tags for my book, and then I had to come up with a title, which was super difficult, but it kind of like dawned on me. I was like, this will be the title. I created the title. Once I had the title, I was like, now we need to make a cover, which was one of my favorite parts of the entire experience. I made the cover and I was obsessed with it once it was completed. I made it on Canva. Unfortunately, I don't know the artist of the artwork because it was just like a free Canva image or like clip art. So I did put that in my description on my book so people know that that's not my artwork. So then I went ahead and I posted the first chapter, and basically because my chapters were pre-written, what I would do is I would go through, I would edit them lightly. I would lightly edit them. I would read them over, correct any like spelling errors that immediately jumped out at me, and change anything that wasn't necessarily written properly. And then I would write my author's note, and I would put my word count for that chapter, and then I would publish it. Okay, so as I was saying, we're going to go through now, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my book specifically. My book is called Only Sleeping. I'm so excited. It's called Only Sleeping. I'll put a picture of the cover here. I'm obsessed with the cover. I think it is so cute. This is the description. Will, the youngest brother of oh my god, okay. Ow, scratch that, start again. Will, the younger brother of infamous party boy Gage Jackson, spent his night desperately trying to tune out the noise of yet another one of his brother's parties. Thankfully, this one ended early at 2 a.m., and he finally found himself falling asleep. That is, until someone came stumbling in his room and fell face first onto his bed, their arm landing across Will, pinning him down. Will was speechless for a moment before squirming under the heavy arm. "Hey, get up." The guy groaned and turned his head, barely opening his eyes. "Shut up, Will." Will's eyes widened, his breath freezing in his lungs. It was Mason. Mason, who happened to be Will's brother's best friend, and even worse, the star in all of Will's steamy dreams, and here he was, asleep in Will's bed. Guys, like I said, that took me so long to write because I kept changing it, and like, chef's kiss, okay? I love it. I love it. I put a couple disclaimers as well on my book. This is my first book. I wanted people to know that so they weren't so judgy. And I also made sure to state that it is lightly edited and it's a first draft. As well, respectful, constructive criticism is always welcome, because I didn't want people to tear me apart, because I was like, then I'll never post anything on Wattpad ever again. Okay, so essentially that's what my book is about. So I'm going to give you guys a little more in-depth because, you know, you're sitting here one-on-one with the author. I'm going to give you some more insight into the book, a little more. I'm going to not spoil it, hopefully. I'll cut out anything if I spoil it. So essentially, Gage Jackson is in grade 12, and his best friend Mason, Mason Moore, is also in grade 12. Like, oh my, oh my. Okay, as I was saying, so Gage is in grade 12, Mason is in grade 12. They go to the same high school as Will. Obviously, Will is in grade 11, so they're only a year apart. Will has had a crush, a hopeless crush on Mason pretty much since he's known him, which has been a very long time. And, but Will is gay, and nobody knows that. And Mason is bi, openly bi, but Will just doesn't, like, he doesn't have a chance. He doesn't think he has a chance. He's like the little nerd brother of Gage. Gage is on the football team, Mason's on the football team. Will, you're typical. Like, there is a lot of stereotypes, okay? I'm sorry. I'm such a sucker for, like, stereotypical, like, books. So he just has this, like, hopeless crush on him. And then one night, Mason ends up sleeping in his bed, and things develop from there. The way in which they develop is that Mason decides he likes spending the night in Will's bed and tries to continue to do so, and does. He succeeds in continuing to do so, and this just opens a lot of other cans of worms. And so that is basically the premise of what happens in my book. There's obviously a lot more to it, a lot more characters. I'm going to tell you guys about my favorite character because I literally cannot resist. So Mason's younger brother Hank is 13. He is very loosely based off of my little sister, and I am obsessed with Hank. I love everything about him. He's hilarious. and clever and smart and mature for his age and funny, and he calls people out. Everybody who reads the book loves Hank, and rightfully so, because he is wonderful. He is just the perfect character. He's probably one of my favorite characters I've ever written. September 7th, I posted my first chapter, and from there I kept posting, and for the first little while there wasn't a lot of traction, and I was like, okay. And then it just started growing and growing and growing, and I was like, people are reading my book. People are reading my book, and they were commenting on my book, and they were commenting such kind things. People were asking me for new chapters and new uploads, and they were, or like, yeah, like new chapters, and they were telling me they loved my writing and telling me how much they loved my characters. People would comment FTR on my book, and I was so confused at first because I would see this comment fairly often, and I was like, what is that? And so eventually I was like, I need to ask. I asked, and it's first time reading. So people were marking first time reading on my book as if they expect to read it a second time. I was like, this is so beautiful and lovely. I cannot wait to complete this book, and not because I want it to be over, but because I have another book that I know my readers are going to devour. I mean, if they don't, I'll be kind of sad, but I think they will. My next book's a little spicier right from the beginning, and I think that's what they want, obviously. Overall, the experience has been wonderful for me. If you guys have any questions, comment them down below, and I will try to answer them. If you guys have your own books on Wattpad, I would love to check them out. So comment either like your username or your book title, and I will look for it. As well, my username or like my link or whatever will be in the description box if you guys do want to check out my book. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Pardon me, and I will see you all next.